All right. We have an awesome speaker. I caught the tail end of her message just a little bit ago. She comes from Northwest Ohio in Tennessee, family in both states.
Correct.
And she came all the way here to visit us today. So,
I'm glad nobody threw eggs at me because I'm from Ohio.
well,
we're all in the same boat, right? We're all in the same boat.
right. Now, so that's as much as I personally know Karla. I am going to read her introduction. So, Karla is an elite salesperson, leadership coach, and team leader who is most interested in helping people who want to take their lives and careers to the next level. Karla is an entrepreneur and a leader at core. Please welcome Karla Lewis.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. I'm excited to be with you all. And Craig, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. So, how many of you, I know that we're, getting to the end here and we may have mush brain, but how many of you are interested, regardless of what 2022 looked like? I sat through your awards and your recognitions, and I know some people had a really great year, and some of you may be sitting here going, oh, thank God 2022 is over and I've got a fresh start, right? But how many of you are interested in having a more productive, more efficient year and increasing your sales in 2023 over 2022? Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you're here. You're in the right place. That's exactly what we help people do. Now, in the time we have together, I'm going to share some techniques with you, and I love seeing several former clients in the room. Hi, Larissa. But I'm going to share some content with you. There is not enough time, if you and I spoke all day today, to share with you all of the content that we have. That's why at the end, I'm going to give you all the opportunity to either say yes or no to coaching. Whatever you decide is fine. Okay? But I would just invite you all to come in if you want to increase your sales, at least open-minded to the idea of what needs to be different. Because if we do the same things in 22 that we did in 23, are we going to get different results? No. Some of you, maybe you want to work more efficiently. Some of you, it might be you want to work, right? So whatever it is, we're going to talk about that. But how many of you have attended a conference like this and you've got a ton of great information? There's been a lot of great information shared yesterday and today, right? How many of you have attended conferences like this before and you walk away with great information? Okay, when you walk out that door, what happens to that information?
Forget it. Stays in the book. Don't implement it.
Why not? Why not, Tyler? Why don't you implement it? Right, but why? Why don't you? What happens that keeps you from implementing all the things that you say, I'm gonna do this?
Yeah, I think people get caught up in life.
Yeah, there's life on the other side of that door, right? There's emails, there's fires, there's clients that love you, there's clients that are frustrated with you, right? There's fires, there's whatever. So that's why we talk to people about coaching, because how many of you know with a little bit more accountability, you could do more in your life? Not just in your business, but in your life, right? You could do more with a little bit more of accountability. So we're going to talk about that. And regardless of whatever you say at the end, I'm good with you. I think you're all still awesome. You're all darn good looking people too. There's a lot of people in this room. So we are going to start. You all should have a note-taking sheet. If you don't, there's some on the tables over here. But we are going to start by talking about what top producers do that average producers don't do. And top producer can mean many things to many people. And I love what Satama said yesterday. I don't know if you guys caught this, but as a coach, I caught it right away. He said, if you want to be a top producer, do you remember what he said? Do something about it. Do something about it. It's not enough to just talk about what we want to do. My kids, when they were little, they used to say, don't talk about it, be about it, right? So be about it. Do something, whatever that something is. So the first thing that top producers know that they need to go to work on, and you can write this down on the triangle that we've got on your sheet, is they need to go to work on their sales skills. Their sales skills. So when you think about sales skills, what comes to your mind? What's that? Relationships, okay. How do we find relationships? Let's go a little more specific to sales. All right, that's also called the P word, prospecting, right? Prospecting. What are communication? Okay, what else? Time management. Thank you, Jamie. Time management. What else? Follow-up. Yeah. How about closing skills? Do y'all have to take somebody from a lack of a decision to a decision? That's influence. That's called closing. Closing is not a sin. Closing is a skill. Closing is a service. Closing is a service. Because when I close somebody, I want a yes or I want a no. What don't I want? Maybe. Can we be real? Maybe suck, right? They suck the life out of you, because how many of us get a maybe? Oh, I think maybe I want to work with you, Clyde. I think maybe I want to, can you follow up with me in 6 months or 3 weeks or whatever? Maybe. You know what I say to people like that? No. But if they say, I think, then we create this false hope. We create this false hope of, we potentially, maybe, perhaps, have this client over here, and so we don't work as intentionally. Anybody relate? Afraid to raise your hand? Okay. Yeah. We create this false hope. Yes or no? Closing. Okay? No matter if you are brand new to this business or you've been in this business for 900 years, when is the last time you went to work on your skills? When is the last time you did something to be better tomorrow than you were yesterday? I love it. Good answer, yeah. So skills are one area that we work with folks on. The bottom part of this, and there's a reason it's on the bottom, it's the motivation, it's the lift, right? Any of you ever get up in the morning and think, oh, it looks so sad out. I live in Northwest Ohio, which is not very much different weather. Can we just be real? This weather is sad, right? It's sad. If we let that dictate our motivation, we're in a world of hurt. Another thing is, have any of you ever felt like you're on the sales roller coaster? You know, we've got a deal. We have somebody that's a yes. They're closing a big $500,000 home, and this is amazing. And then they close, and what happens? We have nobody. And so then we're like, oh, Eeyore, right? Oh, I don't have any prospects, right? And then we get another one, and we're really excited. Do you guys know how exhausting that is? That's exhausting. So motivation is like bathing. It doesn't last, so you should do it every day. If any of you were walking past my room today, you may have heard me saying my positive affirmations and my morning routine out loud. We have to say things to ourselves out loud, because that voice in our head, this is the worst part of our body. The 6 inches between your ears. Because that is not your friend, right? That 6 inches does not want you to succeed. They do not want you to step out of your comfort zone. So we need to be incredibly strong with our motivation. And then the third area that we go to work with folks on are systems. As salespeople, do y'all look at yourself as salespeople? You're a salesperson. You're a salesperson. It's okay. You can say it. Counselor, yeah, you're also a salesperson. Salespeople are really good with people and not so good with paper, right? So we need to have really strong systems, those strong follow-up systems, those strong time management systems, those strong referral asking scripts, that strong prospecting, making sure that when we're networking, we have a plan. Instead of just going to the networking event and hanging out with the 5 people that we came with, and then walking out and going, oh, that was a waste of time. Of course it was. Of course it was a waste of time, right? So do you have a plan when you go to networking? How about this? How many of you set goals this year? How many of you set goals? Show of hands. Okay, keep them up, keep them up, keep them up. How many of you wrote those goals down? Keep them up. If you haven't, drop your hand. How many of you shared those goals with someone that can help you get there? You literally said out loud or showed them your paper, these are my goals. How many of you read your goals out loud every single day? Okay. If you are not doing all of those things, you know what happens? I asked a client one time, July, hey, what are your goals for this year? And they were like, well, and I hear the drawer open. And they pull the paper out of the drawer and they're like, oh yeah, these are my goals. Do you think they were halfway to their goals and were stuck in the bottom of a drawer? No. My goals, our clients' goals, are taped up, written, read out loud every single day, shared with people that believe in us, not with Debbie Downers, right? Oh, Jamie, you did, what'd you do, 145? 8, okay. Oh, you want to do 200? Oh, girl, I don't know. That's a lot of work. Don't share your goals with those people, right? Share your goals with like, heck yeah, you could do 200, but only if it's your goal. And don't share your goals with somebody that tries to project their goals onto you. Own yourself. It's taken me 55 years to realize that, but own yourself. Don't compare. You know who your biggest competition is? You saw them this morning in the mirror. Maybe you were doing the Satema thing in the mirror. Anybody do that? I did not. Hear up, right? This is bad enough. But that's your competition. So top producers know by having strong systems, strong time management systems, strong goals, they're going to achieve what they set out to achieve because they create solid habits. And we help people create the habit of implementation. The habit of implementation. So when you say yes to us, do you really want to do what you say you want to do? Do you want to get there? And do you want to do everything you need to do to get there? Because if not, then maybe you want to look at your goals a little differently. And the thing that makes this work is we surround all of this with accountability. How many of you woke up this morning and you're like, yeah, I hope I get more accountability today? Right? Probably nobody. But how many of you know that with more accountability in your life, you could do better? We all do. We all do. So we're going to talk about our coaching program as we go through. I'm going to share some information. And if you're a yes, awesome. And if you're not, that's okay too. I just hope that you come into this open-minded, willing to learn and willing to grow. So you can write on the lines underneath the triangle. The first habit of a top producer is they find a way, not an excuse. Come on now, there's a lot of excuses that throw at us every day, right? Excuse here, excuse there. What are some of the excuses that maybe you've heard today or you've heard in your career? What are some of the excuses that you know stand in your way from getting where you are to where you want to be? This is where you tell me. No judging. What stands in your way? Analysis paralysis. Got to think about it. Can't say it because I haven't read the script 752 times. Okay, what else? Time management. Don't have enough time? I suck at time management. Which one? Or both? Okay, we'll go with both. Thanks, Tyler, for being honest. Yeah. Do y'all know what the equivalent of I don't have enough time is? The dog ate my homework.
It's just an excuse.
It's just an excuse, and what'd you say?
It's not important to me.
Right. It's not important to me.
The perception that what we're doing is right or wrong instead of what's right for us.
So the feeling of being judged.
There's not just one way.
If you continue to listen to Mr. Mediocrity that chirps in your ear, what's going to happen? You're going to be mediocre. Did any of you get up this morning and look in the air and go, hey, you good-looking person, I hope you're mediocre today? No, we don't say that. We don't say that. So why do we believe the excuses? So we know that top producers get that dude. Sorry, guys, he's a dude. It's my story. Get that dude off our shoulder and stomp him into the dirt time after time after time because it shows up. He shows up all the time. So what are you going to do with him? The second habit of a top producer is they are a student of their game. I love the Jim Rohn quote, a formal education will make you a living, a self-education will make you a fortune. Do you all know what the highest paid profession potential is?
Sorry, what was the question?
Thank you, sales. The highest opportunity to earn a high income is another way to word it. It's sales. Good job. What's your first name?
Ethan.
Ethan? Bob. Yeah, I was like, why did you point to him when you said Ethan? I was like, wait a minute, y'all are trying to throw me off here. You're right, Ethan, it is. It's sales. What stands in your way? You. Right? So getting outside of our comfort zone, doing the things that are uncomfortable that we know are going to grow and stretch us. Top producers are a student of their game. They invest in their mind. This is Chad Brandenberry. He was scared to death to say yes to coaching. But when he did, he said he knew he needed somebody to hold him accountable, and he knew what he needed to do to grow his business, but he kept coming up with the excuse. But he said yes. He's been incredibly focused on schedule and dialing. And he crushed 2022 and is coming into 2023 on fire with momentum. The third habit of a top producer is they take action now. They don't wait. They don't analysis paralysis. They don't think. They take action now. When it feels right, when they know they need to do it, they take action now. Do you all know what the number one killer of success is? Procrastination. Anybody in here a procrastinator? Anybody gonna raise their hand later? Some of you might get that on your drive home, right? Yeah. Procrastination kills success. But why do we do it? Worse than procrastination, it's creative avoidance. It's, hey, I sat in on this session. I learned a lot at this conference, this all-in conference. Monday, man, I am all in. I am gonna get after it. I'm gonna do things. I'm gonna call people. I'm gonna schedule a networking event to go to. I'm gonna call and ask for referrals. I'm going to insert whatever it is that you say you're gonna do. And then Monday morning shows up and you open your laptop, you go to your office, you do whatever. And what's in our inbox? A whole bunch of emails, maybe a fire or two. Maybe that closing that you thought was gonna happen on Tuesday, there's a problem. That never happens, right? And so we say, oh, this first couple hours I was gonna prospect, but I need to take care of this over here first. So I'm gonna take care of this. And that's only gonna take an hour. And 3 hours later, you're like, oh, my belly's growling. It's time for lunch. Oh, I was gonna meet that friend for lunch. So what could have been a 15 to 20 minute lunch is now an hour and a half, 2 hour lunch, right? But we said we were going to prospect, so now we're starting to feel guilty. We're like, well, I really don't have any time this afternoon because I have to insert whatever you have to do in the afternoon. So I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And we wake up tomorrow, what happens? Same daggum thing. And at the end of that time, how do we feel? We feel guilty, right? Because we didn't do what we said we were going to do. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, man, I hope I live with no integrity today. Right? I hope I don't do what I said I was going to do. But it's creative avoidance. So how do top producers stay on top of this? They stay focused on their IPAs. Not the ones I saw y'all pounding back Wednesday night over at the brewery, right? Income producing activities. An income producing activity is something that directly puts money into your pocket. That's an income producing activity. And that is seeing people or attempting to see people. It is prospecting in meetings or asking for referrals. It is not paperwork. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to do paperwork because you do, but that's a separate time slot. Top producers know that 80% of their schedule is income producing activities. And if it's not, you're not most likely not going to achieve your goals. So it's doing the things that you know you need to do and executing them. So I'd like for you to be honest with yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is I plan my day, I have a plan, I'm time blocked, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. 80% of it is income producing activities. I am prospecting, I'm asking for referrals, I'm doing the things I know I need to do, I'm delegating off what I don't need to do, and I am focused, and I have no guilt at the end of the day. When I'm working, and when I'm not working, I'm not working. That's a 10. And a 1 is, Karla, let me tell you all of the reasons that won't work for my terminal unique self. Because clients call, and they need this, or my kid's sick, or, right? Refer to former excuses. So where are you at? Write it down. If you are not an 8, 9, or 10 consistently, what does that cost you? This is where you talk. What does it cost you? See right in the back, money. How much? What's a lot? Thousands? Tens of thousands?
Never really know.
Your dreams, Clyde. Money? Dreams? Anybody ever have guilt? I should. You got the case of the shoulds? Are you a should head, right? I should do this, but here's my excuses. So when we talk about money and dreams, on average, can we go with about a $5,000 commission? I know y'all probably have different levels, but is that about fair for a real estate transaction, about $5,000? If you were focused and you executed flawlessly, 90% of the time, none of us are perfect, right? But if we executed 90% of the time flawlessly, how many more deals could you do in a month? Could you do 2? Could you do 2 more? Could you do 1 more? 1 to 2 would be $60,000 to $100,000 in a year. And your dreams. So what would you do if you had an extra, let's just go with 100 instead of 120, let's go with $100,000. $75,000 to $100,000. What would you do with an extra $75,000 to $100,000? Buy 3 more properties? I love it. Somebody else, what would you do with $100,000? Give more. What else? What's that? Go on more vacations. So what is stopping you? Top producers know that they plan. They create a schedule. They time block. They do what they say they're going to do. It's 80% income producing activities. They plan out every single moment of their day. And if something gets shifted, they adjust. But they know prospecting time has got to be there. We have to prospect. We have to grow our business. So top producers find a way, not an excuse. They're a student of their game, and they take action now. Y'all might know this good-looking young man. Steve's been in our coaching program. This was before he came back to coaching. This was his first go. He set a goal to sell 100 transactions by himself, and he did it. We helped create the creed. All of you know about the City to Shore Creed? He was not happy with me when we talked about this. And now look what it's done. Look at how it has grown your company. I talked to some people that work with Steve, and they're like, he is delegating so much more stuff off. I know Larissa's been in coaching. Craig's been in coaching. Jamie, you said you were. It works if you work. So we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about the cycle of the sale. There is a process to the cycle of the sale, and there is a cycle that we have to go through to take someone from, we don't know if they want to buy or sell a house, to, oh, look, we have a new client, a new champion. So the first step, if you want to write this down, the first step in the cycle of the sale is pre-approach. It is finding out everything you can about that client prior to reaching out to them, so our approach doesn't sound like we have commission breath. So if I were reaching out to Jamie, I would do research on Jamie, or better yet, the final step in the cycle of sales, referrals, and we're going to talk about how to get those. But I would reach out to Jamie and say, hey, Jamie, it's Karla Lewis. She may or may not know me, but guess what? When I approach her like that, she's going to think, we've already met somewhere, and she knows me. Okay, Jamie, Steve, or actually it would be Craig. Craig Gears suggested that I reach out to you. He shared that you are crushing it, that you are at the top of your game, that you are a strong producer, you have amazing skills, you are just a superhero realtor. Is that true? Do you think she wants to hang up on me or talk to me right now? Heck yeah. Now, it has to be genuine. You can't make up fluff. You have to be genuine. You have to tell the truth. If somebody's like, oh, they're a hot mess, I wouldn't call them and say, hey, Craig said you're a hot mess, right? But you have to tell them things that are good about them. And then they want to talk to you. And then I would say, hey, the reason Craig suggested that I reach out to you is I actually work with a company called Southwestern Consulting. This is what we do. You may or may not be a fit. It's okay. But how many of you are calling, do you want to buy or sell your house? Do you want to buy or sell your house? Do you want to buy a new house? Do you want to sell your house? We may not be saying those things, but that's what people are hearing. So having a strong phone approach is incredibly important, and that's what we help you develop. Then we have the introduction. This is fact-finding, needs analysis, probing, qualifying, whatever you want to call it. This is asking all of the right questions, so when we get to the presentation part of our sale is short. It is not, here, let me show up and throw up all over you about how amazing I am and what I can do for you. Because it's not about us, it's about them. So asking the right questions, and then after the presentation, we need to close for business. Closing is a skill. Who said service? Yes, thank you. You were paying attention. Gold star for you. Closing is a service. It's a service to them, into us, because I'm not chasing maybes. And if you're chasing maybes, I would encourage you to reevaluate your business, because maybes are exhausting. It's like getting on the hamster wheel and running faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And where do you get? Nowhere. Same spot, but now you're tired. So closing is a service. Average producers have 2 closes that they can use. Top producers know 5 closes. They have practiced, drilled, rehearsed. They can pull them out at any moment, and they're not afraid to continue to close and close and close and close and close until we get a yes or a no. It's okay, either way. Do we know what to do with yes? Do we know what to do with a no? Do we know what to do with a maybe? No. Maybes are confusing, right? So after we close, we sometimes get objections. So we do the close objection dance. And then we ask for referrals. So I'd love to ask you, out of the last 10 people you have talked with, by a show of hands, how many of you have got, from the last 10 people you've talked with, how many of you have got at least 50 referrals from them? 25? 10? 5? 2 people. Help me understand why you're not getting those referrals. Okay? I can't read your name from here, and I don't remember from last night. Renee. Feels like commission breath. Why else? Why don't we get referrals? Don't ask? That's what you're going to say, Bob? Yep. Don't ask? Why don't we ask?
I get so indulged in the process and the relationship, I just forget to do it. I really do.
Mm-hmm. So no physical reminder of, hey, Bob.
I have no process to remind myself to do it.
Lack of process.
I don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do any of you, have you ever felt like, well, they're not a client yet, so I can't ask them. Or they told me no, so why would I want to ask them for a referral? Or what if they tell me they don't know anybody?
Worst case scenario, I say no.
Have you ever been told no in your life?
Every day.
Yeah, congratulations, you've survived every no that you've got up to this point, and I'm pretty confident you'll survive more. A lot of it's ego. It's our own ego that stands in the way. So what if, Bob, you said you don't have a process. Will you play with me here for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what if, at the end of your process, you just said, and I'm going to be Karla and you be Bob. Hey, Bob, it was really great getting to know you today. I'm really glad you came to the class. You really seem like a guy that's a student of the game. You really want to grow your business and take action. Let me ask you, Bob, well, first, I'd actually love 10 more people just like you. And yes, I say 10. I say I would like to know 10 more people just like you. Some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't say that because then they're going to think they need to give me 10 names and then they're going to get mad at me and then all of these things. No, they're not. No, they're not. So, hey, Bob, I'd love to know 10 more people that are just like you. Specifically, what I'm looking for are people in real estate, mortgage, title, insurance. Who are some of the leaders in those categories that you know that are open-minded to the idea of having me in to do a workshop? Who are some people?
Kurt Stock, or Grassham.
Awesome. What can you tell me about Kurt?
Kurt is a lender who's been in the business a long time, does a lot of new construction, very open-minded, so a lot of families.
Awesome. What do you respect the most about Kurt?
Honest.
And is Kurt chatty or direct?
He's chatty.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Who else do you know?
I know Ethan knows me.
Okay. Okay, what can you tell me about Ethan?
Ethan?
Okay. Yeah. So did you see how easy that was? Renee, did that feel like commission breath?
No, but when people know that you're in sales, this is how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, when somebody says those things to me because I'm in sales and I know how to do that, I know what they're asking for, and we may not be at that stage in our relationship yet where I want to share information about the people that I value and protect, and I don't think it's their, I'm just not ready to give that up, and I think that it's overstepping where they are.
Okay, so I have 2 things. So first of all, that's a mental block. that we're projecting onto them. Do you all think I get referrals from every single person I talk to? You don't? No, I don't. Come on, guys. No, I don't. I don't. You know what? I have a heck of a better chance asking than not asking. And in coaching, Renee, I so appreciate you sharing that. We work with folks through that and how to answer that objection. So it could be, hey, I get that you may not want to. My job is just to talk to everybody. If they decide they want to work with me, that's awesome. And if they don't, it's totally okay, Renee. But what I know is that there's a lot of people out there that need what we do, and my job is to just go find them. And a lot of times people at that point, they're like, oh, okay. They may give you one or two, see how it goes, and then give more. But if we continue to listen to that voice in our head that's, oh, it's pushy, or I don't want to do that, or I want to protect the relationship, a lot of times it comes from somewhere that maybe we've given a referral. How many of us have given somebody a name, and then we're like, you did what with my name? You like called them until they blocked your number? And yeah, exactly. And that's where it comes from. But we're projecting that on everybody when it only happens this much time.
I think that what we go through, I mean, how many lenders, how many title companies, how many sponsors came to this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a whore.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just
Feels like it. Yeah.
endless
Yeah.
onslaught.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a relationship. What
Yeah.
do you get?
No. So that's where,
Selective and selective.
right, that's where the buying atmosphere comes in. I'm just looking to connect. I want to have conversations with a lot of people. And if they decide they want to work with me, that's awesome. And if they don't, that's okay too. We know we're not a fit for everybody. Because I'm a smart aleck, a lot of times I'm like, not everybody wants to drive a Ferrari. Some people like a Pinto. I have fun with it. But that's my personality too. It may not be your personality, and that's fine. But if we don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. Right, Steve Frody? You had your hand up.
Yeah. When it comes to referrals, I don't know, I just wanted to share, I feel like it's a little more authentic to kind of just do it throughout the transaction.
Yeah.
And again, you can kind of just have fun with it and stating, funny little lines like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously you want to bring it up towards the end, that's pretty important. But if you do it throughout the transaction, you just kind of say, for example, I'm working with a lot of my friends right now, they're new home buyers, they all know I'm just starting. But also they're kind of uncomfortable to reach out to people and get referrals for me. It's just kind of a weird thing to do. But they know I just got married and, make it more about my lifestyle and my wife and everything going on in life. They understand that my business is built off of referrals.
Yeah.
So you just make that clear up front.
Right.
And it goes back to what September, obviously.
Yeah, Satama.
It's just being honest with yourself and being honest with your clients.
Absolutely.
You have to tell them this is how you make money.
And Renee, truthfully, I've had people say, I'm not giving you names. I will not. I'm like, okay. Okay.
I think if your client trusts you and you've built a relationship, obviously this doesn't work if you just hop on the phone with somebody to that depth.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody that trusts you and they actually are invested in you, they're not going to be scared to give you names.
Exactly.
They're friends.
Exactly. And it's creating champions. Yeah, it's creating champions. Yes. It's, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a jump on board the train person.
Right.
But I think we have to be careful. We're professionals. We have to be professional. Just walk up to somebody and go, hey.
No. That's not what I'm saying, Renee. That is not what I'm saying.
There are people who would not understand that that's not what you're saying.
Exactly.
That was my point.
Yeah, no, and I so appreciate your openness to that. Yeah. I'm not just going to walk up to you and be like, hey, Renee, who can you give me that I can go sell coaching to? Right? But if we develop a relationship, I'll ask. Guys, I ask my no's. When I call for workshops and people tell me no, and because I'm a smart aleck, this is how I ask. So Renee, if you were a broker, and I don't know if you are, but if you were a broker and you had a team and I called you and you're like, no, I'd be like, hey, Renee, before we go, I have one last question for you. Who should I reach out to? Who do you know that's open-minded? No, I've gotten hung up on before. It's all right, I don't care. I don't care, right? I have nothing to lose at that point. And it's not because I don't value but if you're never gonna work with me and you've got somebody, I have got referrals from no's that have turned into clients. And it's all because you just ask. It's having the courage to step out and ask. And I'll be honest, I look over my numbers from last year, from 2023, all but 3 clients that I enrolled, and I enrolled a lot of clients. I'm in the top 10 in our company for last year. And so I've enrolled a lot, and that's my point. I'm not telling you how amazing I am. I'm just telling you I do a significant amount of business. All but 3 of those clients came from a referral. Referred business is fun to call. If I can call Renee and be like, hey, Steve Frody said we should connect, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do you know Steve? I love Steve. People talk. But if we call them, we're cold calling people. I always like to say cold calling is your punishment for not asking for referrals, like your penance. Those of you that are Catholic and you have a penance, it's your penance for not asking for referrals. Cold calling sucks, right? Yeah, Craig.
I like what you just said, because we all have a lot of really close friends. I think it's really hard for us to ask the question, who do you know that needs to buy or sell a house, or do you? But when you said, you don't have to use me, but by saying that, that really takes them off the spot.
Yeah.
It's not a threat.
Right. And here's the other part of it. Who do you know that just got married? Who do you know that just graduated into the empty nest syndrome? It's awesome. Grandbabies are way cooler than your own kids if you're not there yet. My boys get mad at me. Yeah, sorry. It's true, Mom. It's true. But who do you know that did this, that did that, that's renting, that talked about at your New Year's Eve party, man, I wish I had more space?
Something that I've ran into a couple times, how I've got referrals, is like we all know a lot of people, and almost everybody knows a lot of agents.
Yeah.
And some of them feel committed to an agent because they're a family member or something, and they feel obligated to work with them. But maybe their experience wasn't necessarily the best, and they know that I'm better, know better agents.
Oops.
They'll actually give me their referrals and not their family member. So I've had that like 3
Yeah.
times this last year.
Yeah. And it's just because you had the courage, Tyler,
Because you gotta ask.
to ask, to step out, to step out. So I would encourage you, set a referral goal. When you go to networking events, how many referrals do you want to get? How many of you set a referral goal when you go to a networking event? Steve, how many people do you want to meet at that networking event?
It's like I'm not supposed to be in this room.
Steve's like, why did I come in here? Yeah, but do we talk about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How many people do we want to meet? Because how do we know if we're living out our potential? How do we know if we're sharing? How do you know that someone not knowing you isn't going to positively impact their life? Guys, honestly, when I look at signing people up for coaching, it is changing a life because it's not just about sales. Real estate is not just about the house. Okay, so we're gonna have some fun. Hey, Steve, will you help me? Will you pass these out when I tell you to, not before? When I direct you, not yet, not yet. So we're gonna have some fun together. If you guys have done this before, don't ruin it for the group, okay? But in order for this to work, I'll tell you the group before you guys, I'd give them a B on this. So I feel like you guys are an A+ group. So in order for this to work, I need you to participate fast, loud, and together. Do I have your commitment?
Yes.
Oh, that was like B-. Come on. All right, we're gonna improve as we go. Ready? Everybody say coast.
Coast.
Fast, loud, and together. Ready? Everybody say coast. Say silk. Say coast. Say silk. Spell coast. C-O-A-S-T. Spell silk. S-I-L-K. Say coast. Say silk. Say coast. Say silk. What do you put in a toaster?
Toast.
Why did y'all say if I say toast? It's momentum, right? It's the momentum. What would happen if you had more momentum in your business this year than you had last year? What would happen? What would happen if you had more momentum going into networking events? If you had more momentum with your time management? If you had more momentum with asking for referrals? What would that look like? It wouldn't look bad, right? How many of y'all think you can get it right if we do it again? Oh, come on. Nobody? Okay, thank you, Renee. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. Okay, ready? We're gonna do it again. Everybody say coast. Say silk. Say coast. Say silk. Spell coast. C-O-A-S-T. Spell silk. S-I-L-K. Say coast. Say silk. Say coast. Say silk. What do cows drink?
Milk. Oh, they don't.
Water. Renee's like, yes! Oh, but I love your enthusiasm, Renee. I love your belief in yourself. They drink water. How many of you were thinking bread? Yeah. Confidence is key. Own it. And so I will say, there's one in every crowd. Baby cows do drink milk, but I didn't say what do baby cows drink, right? So, stays in this room, right? So let me ask you, what do all these people have in common? You can go ahead and hand one of those to everybody, Steve. What do all these people have in common? Success. Good, Jamie. They all had a coach. We rarely become the most marvelous version of ourselves by ourselves. We rarely live out our potential by ourselves. So we're gonna talk real quick. And like I said at the beginning, some of you may think this is exactly what I need. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to be a yes. Some of you may think, no way, this is not for me. I'll give you the opportunity to be a no. So how does this work? Our program helps people increase their income by 46% after a year, on average, 46%. Multiply time by 58%. What would it look like for you to be 58% more effective? And growing our confidence by 32% on average. What would that look like for you? Here's what some of our clients are saying about coaching. I love Steve Devlin over here on the end. I was always a doubter of coaching. He was like, yeah, I got this. Reminds me of my 3-year-old grandson, Huey. Yes, his name is Huey Lewis. His name is Houston, but we call him Huey. Huey Lewis. What's that?
There's a typo.
Where?
It says MDP club that I have done it 9 months. M earnings have.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Detective. I am not a detective. I will have to get on my assistant for that. But Steve Devlin was a doubter of coaching, thought he could do it on his own, and he decided to lean in. Who can read what he increased his income by? And that is not a typo, Tyler. What does that say?
283.3%.
What would 283.3% increase income look like for you? Omar Kuba, title rep, all over the board. He said he approached his prospecting like a shotgun. It just went everywhere. He was just like, oh, you want to see me here, and you want to see me here, and you want to see me here all on the same day? Okay, great, I'm going to travel all over. When he got into coaching, he was laser focused, got his time under control. When he got home, he could be with his wife and family. And Katie Murphy in the middle, she was like, hey, I had sales coaching given to me for free from my office, and it was like a skeleton. They basically just said, go do this. And she said, what coaching did for me with Southwestern was add muscle and tendon to the skeleton and helped me move through the process. So how's this work? What's included? It's 2 calls a month with your coach. May or may not be me. I'm gonna be real honest, it probably is not gonna be me because I coach Steve. It's probably not gonna be me. 2 calls a month with your coach, about 45 minutes in length. We have stuff, right? Everybody has stuff. We have content we're gonna send to you, videos, help you track your activity if you're not doing that yet. But the big thing is you work with your coach to get real on the things you want to change, and then your coach holds you accountable to making the changes. So how do I know if it's for me, right? Might be for some of you, might not be for all of you. Are you coachable? Are you willing to get down and dirty with what's going on in your business and be coachable? Are you committed? It's for 12 months minimum. Most people stay with us for a lot longer. And do you really want to change? And do you want to do the things that change takes? If you're a yes to all of those, how much is it? We have 4 different programs. Our top program starts out at $5,000 a month, probably overkill for most of you in here, but that's coaching with a founder of our company. We have a $2,800 program. It's coaching with a partner. We have a $1,400 program that's our elite level program. That's coaching with someone at my level that is a top producer in our company. They're a stockholder in our company. They are out doing the things that you do. And then we have a standard coaching program. And our standard coaching program is $700 a month. All of our coaches are certified. They've invested $30,000 in themselves. They invest $10,000 to $15,000 annually, and our content on its own is worth about $200,000. So you're paying $700 a month to increase your income by 46%. we also have those other programs that I talked about. So I'd love to know how many of you are open-minded. I'm not asking you to be a yes yet. How many of you are open-minded to coaching? Okay, several of you. Awesome. Steve, I know we didn't talk about this, but do you have anything you want to say about what coaching has done for you? Real quick. What would you say the best part of coaching has been for you, other than me? Yeah, sure. Come on up.
I think for me, my wife thought I was crazy a couple years ago, and I was running ragged in my life. I'm just a very quick testimony. And thanks for being. I just met her officially yesterday.
Yeah. No, 2 days ago, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
So to me, when I started, I was like, it was chaos. I was active, a lot going on in my life, and I'm like, what's next? Is this what I want to live my life like? And coaching really helped me to kind of get more strategic with my schedule, my family, my life, I still do a lot of real estate and I run a brokerage, but my life is way more peaceful, right? I mean, it's just, because real estate's crazy. Real estate actually is a big issue with potential divorce. I'll be honest with you. Once you start throwing transactions, you get busier and busier. It just takes away from your family. It takes away from, but that's not what I want, so I'm thinking Jamie right here. Now, 148 deals. You gotta have. I was thinking I had Mike on, but
No,
okay.
you don't.
All the transactions, but yet she's got to be careful that you get your family. So anyway, coaching really kind of what's important to me. I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's that outside perspective, and Steve does what he says he's going to do because we have a really fun accountability thing in place that involves the Ohio State Buckeyes that Steve is not interested in. So he does what he says he's going to do, and he's recruited agents. He's living a more peaceful life. So if this is for you, we'll get to the end here. If this is for you, do it. If it's not for you, don't do it. Okay? So at this point, you all have an enrollment form. Just touching it isn't going to charge your card. I'm not that good yet, although my husband thinks I am. He gets scared because I have our card number memorized. He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, how do you not know that, right? Come on. So we have the 4 different levels of coaching that you can choose from. And if this is for you, if you're a yes, that's a 1. Put a 1 at the top of your paper, start filling the top part out. I'm going to come around real quick and gather things up, and we'll get you started with a coach right away. A 2 is not a maybe, okay? A 2 is not a maybe. A 2 is I'm a yes, but I want to talk to you, Karla. I've got time from now until Steve's dad picks me up at 5 o'clock. I can talk to you about whatever questions you have. A 2 is I'm in, but I have some questions I want to ask you. And a 3 is, hey, this is not for me. I'm good. I already did it. I have a coach somewhere else, whatever. I'm happy with where I'm at. A 3 is a no. But when you think about it, at our standard coaching, $700 investment to potentially make $5,000 more per deal, it's a no-brainer at that point if you're coachable, committed, and ready for a change. So I'm going to come real quick, and then I'm going to come back up here, but I'm just going to check real quick where y'all are at, and I know we are spot on time, so I just want to come around really quick and see where you all are at. I know you've already decided. Okay. Awesome. Where are you guys at? Renee, where are you? Okay. Awesome, we'll talk. Yeah, okay. Where are you at, Clyde? What's your number? Okay, where are all of you people here? 3. Yes, go ahead, Jamie. Where are we at? 1, 2, 3. Or yes or no, basically. Okay. I do have a question. Okay. Can I answer it real quick later? Okay. Where are you guys at? I'm a no. Okay. You have a question? Okay, I'll get with you guys. Where are you at? No? Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Maybe later.
Okay. Yeah, Craig?
Yeah, hey, I'm one of you guys. I'm a agent too, okay? And 3 years ago, I was just hanging around that $2 million a year sales number. I do real estate part-time. Part-time? Yeah, part-time. I got a few other things I'm doing. But like Steve, I was all over the place. I'm doing too much, calendar was a mess, and I signed up for almost 2 years, and with somebody on Karla's team, and it was the best thing I ever did. So from being in the top maybe 3,000 realtors of Loire, now I've been in the top 400 the last 2 years,
Awesome.
and I'm totally convinced that coaching made a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight, but over time, you start to develop the things you need to do those profitable activities.
Yep. I love it. Thank you, Craig. So those of you that want to talk more, I'm going to pack up my stuff and I'll be outside. I'm happy to talk to all of you. I encourage you, take your notes, and regardless of if you lean in or you don't, do something. Like Satema said, if you want to be a top producer, and if you don't, that's okay too. That's okay. But if you want to be a top producer, what are you going to do about it? So thank you to Steve and Shelley. Thank you to all of you. I've had a blast hanging out with you guys. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, reach out at any time. You guys are awesome.